Hey everybody, this is Cody Knight 22 here. Welcome to Cody Talks Fanfiction, episode number 27. There we go. This is going to be first of all, this is the first time that I've recorded in that a video has come out in Minecraft for quite some time. Not the first time that I've recorded in Minecraft for a little bit. Did lose the original file for this, got corrupted, yada yada yada, boo-hoo. So this is episode number 27. This is going to be the future episode. And there's probably some thoughts about what this could be. I could be talking about the future AU. Could be talking about just RWBY being in the future in general. Sci-fi versions of RWBY. Could be talking about RWBY set in 2015. That's a Back to the Future reference because this is the year that they went forward to. Also welcome to the first Cody Talks Fanfiction in Minecraft of 2015. Hey, celebrate. That's not what this episode is about. This episode is actually called future because of the show. This is going to be talking about the future of Cody Talks Fanfiction because this is actually a fairly major update really to the series, and I felt as though doing an update video that nobody's going to watch would really not do this justification, so I do have to talk about this. So Cody Talks Fanfiction as an idea started up because I noticed that, it's really, really hard to get people talking about fanfiction. And being somebody who wrote in fanfiction, I knew that. A lot of times people, there wouldn't be these massive conversations about it or even these minor conversations about it. It would just kind of be it was a few people would talk about it, and for everybody else, it would be more kind of brushed to the wayside. And that's kind of the same thing, though, with some other fandom-created content, where it's just kind of it happens, people acknowledge them, people will talk about stuff that they like, and they'll bring it up maybe occasionally in conversation, but, there's not really anything. And I wanted to make a series that kind of talked about fanfiction. I wanted to make a series where I would give in-depth coverage to something that normally would not really be given any kind of in-depth coverage. And that was the birth of Cody Talks Fanfiction. Really, I just kind of created it because I thought, this is just an area that's not covered. And then eventually when I did interviews, I started doing interviews on the predication of, these are not people, look at the fanfiction authors that I've had on the show. Kuribayashi, Zextrin, Elfin Lee, Dinas Emery's, Ivory Tower Crumbles. I mean, all of these people are fantastic writers. They're so good at writing, but they would never get this kind of coverage. They would not get the kind of coverage of, they would never, somebody's not going to ask them to be interviewed as of right now, because there's just nowhere else is this kind of an option. So, they're certainly good enough to be interviewed, but they just they don't create a media, or they do not create within a media source that is interviewable. So I wanted to change that. And I wanted to, give them the opportunities to be interviewed. And I did. I created this series. And I interviewed people. And, things have escalated from there. And I've really, enjoyed making the series. But a while back, and by a while I mean episode number 23. Or right around episode number 22, actually. After episode 22. I realized something. This is an amazing show, and I'm providing a lot of wonderful opportunities to these fanfiction writers. But I'm not. But everybody else within a fandom. I mean, there's tons of people that create media within a fandom. Fan artists, cosplayers, people who make AMVs, people make fan-inspired, or they make fan-created music as well for the show. I mean, they make a lot. There's a lot of different things. And by the way, that's pretty much all that comes to mind right now for me. If you can think of anything else, leave it in the comments below. But, and they do amazing work. I mean, just undoubtedly amazing work. Really, really impressive stuff. They don't have a medium. They don't have a media that's dedicated to talking about them. They don't have a media dedicated to interviewing them. They don't. And in a way, by making Cody Talks Fanfiction so inclusive, I also made it slightly exclusive. Or I made it fairly exclusive as well because I cut out so many different areas. So that was where the idea was inspired for episode number 23 to be the art episode. Was because I wanted to make the show more inclusive. So I did. And I made the art episode. But that was just the first idea that I had. And what is going to become a series of ideas that is all predicated around making the show open to really almost every single media source within a fandom that I possibly can think of. So as of right now, the way it looks, future episodes of the show will include like the cosplay episode, the AMV episode, the music episode. These are not things, by the way, that I'm incredibly well versed in. So, once again, leave suggestions in the comments below. But, this is just all just really, really, really impressive media that's created. I mean, this is just like, I look at this stuff and I'm like, wow, these people who make this are incredible. They're so good at what they do. And I want to be able to have them on my show. And really the only way to do it would be to kind of set forward on that path. So that's just like the future plans for the show. But probably the biggest change that is coming this show's way is going to be coming really as of this moment. So episode number 27, this is going to be titled Cody Talks Fanfiction, episode number 27, or Cody Talks Fanfiction 27, Future. And I know that is going to, or I know that Cody Talks Fanfiction episode number 27 is going to be called that. But this being called episode number 27, or this being called Cody Talks Fanfiction, is honestly the last time that this will happen. I'm not going to go through and rename everything, but every single episode moving forward is going to be called Cody Talks Fandom. And it's going to be called Cody Talks Fandom because of a couple of reasons. The most prominent being that this is not, calling it Cody Talks Fanfiction would not be doing justification to what I will be talking about on the show. It also will probably turn away some people. I don't think that, Dash and Red obviously wanted to come onto the show, and there's lots of stuff surrounding their things. But, I don't think like in the future you have, a cosplayer come onto the show, and, I don't know how much they'll think of the name. Cody Talks Fanfiction, but I'm a cosplayer. Like, I don't have anything to do with fanfiction. Maybe I read fanfiction, but I don't have stuff to do with fanfiction. So I say, hey, come on to my show. And it's Cody Talks Fandom. I'm talking about people within the fandom. I'm not talking about, the actions of the fandom. I'm not talking about anything else. I mean, I might do an episode of that in the future, but that's another story. But I'm not doing anything else. I'm talking about, people within the fandom. And, and I want you to be on there. And so it's kind of this is just making the show, like, it's going to be kind of a big love fest. I think that the best way that I described it was actually to my friend Haley, where I said, hey, I kind of said, like, as a joke, just like, hey, she said as a joke to me, you're like my personal fanboy. And I'm like, yeah, I'm everybody's personal fanboy. That's kind of my job in the fandom. And I want to do that more so. I want to sit here and I want to talk about things, and I want to talk about things to the best of my abilities, and I want to include people on here every single time, and I want to mention everybody, and I want to get to everybody. It's very, very difficult to do, but I'm determined. I'm going to do it. But I mean, this is a really short episode, and it kind of feels like a filler episode, I'm sure, but it's an important episode. I mean, it's a new direction moving forward. I mean, the number count isn't even going to reset or anything like that. The next episode is still going to be number 28. It's just Cody Talks Fandom 28, not fanfiction. And with that, though, that is going to conclude this episode of Cody Talks Fanfiction. Tune in next week where I will have my interview with Magi Suka up. Questions are open from now till Friday, so please send in any questions that you have for Haley, because she is fantastic and incredibly talented, and all of you should be asking questions to her. Otherwise, I will be seeing all of you the next time. Bye!